Captain Ray stepped off the ramp of the human starship Unity, ready for peace talks. The planet Leora looked calm, beautiful, and glowing with purple trees and soft blue skies. Behind him, his crew followed 5 humans in clean white uniforms. Nervous but hopeful, they had trained for months for this mission. It was the first official contact with the Lyrans, a species never seen before in person. As the humans reached the meeting field, they saw a group of alien women waiting. The women were tall, with smooth silver skin and bright crystal eyes. Their dresses flowed like liquid light, changing color. With every step, they looked graceful, calm, and almost too perfect. Ray took a breath and stepped forward. "Captain Ray of Earth, we come in peace," he said loudly and clearly. He smiled, hoping his words would be enough. Then it happened. The alien women, all of them, lifted their dresses slightly and revealed glowing patterns under them. Not skin, not underwear, but glowing shapes like stars and fire dancing across their hips and thighs. Ray froze. His crew gasped. One soldier even dropped his tablet. What's going on?" whispered Lieutenant Banks, eyes wide. "They're flashing us," said Dr. Alina, blinking fast. "But is that art? Tattoos?" Before anyone could panic, one of the alien women stepped forward. She had a crown of silver leaves and her dress shimmered gold. "I am Zalari, Peace Matron of Leora," she said softly. Her voice was calm like a song. "We greet you with open symbols, as is our oldest custom." Ray tried to speak but couldn't find the words. "Symbols? What does that even mean?" Zalari smiled gently. "You look confused, human captain." Ray laughed nervously. "A little, yes, we weren't expecting that." Zalari tilted her head, her smile growing. Of course. We forgot Earthlings may not know our greeting of truth." She waved her hand, and suddenly a holoscreen appeared. It showed a glowing alien female lifting her dress and revealing the same patterns. The screen zoomed in, showing how the patterns moved with her emotions, bright when joyful, dim when afraid. "In our culture," Zalari explained, "our dresses hide our energy signatures, which hold our truth. To reveal what lies beneath is to show we have no weapons, no lies, and no hate." Ray nodded slowly, trying to understand. "So this is like showing trust?" "Exactly," Zalari said. "We do not shake hands or bow, we show our truth." The human crew looked at each other, unsure what to do. Should they try to respond? Copy the gesture? That could go very wrong. "I think we need a plan, Doctor," Elena whispered, pulling Ray aside. "If this is serious, we could offend them just by standing here, doing nothing." Ray looked at the aliens, all still smiling kindly, still glowing under their dresses. He cleared his throat. "Would it be acceptable if we greet you in our human way?" Zalari raised an eyebrow. "What is your way?" Ray smiled and extended his hand for a handshake. Zalari gently touched it with just 2 fingers. "A strange greeting," she said, "but we accept it." The tension eased, but not fully. Behind Ray, Banks was red in the face. "I swear, I thought we were being seduced," he muttered. "Doctor," Elena laughed quietly. "They probably think we're shy monkeys." As the humans followed Zalari into the ceremonial hall, Ray couldn't help but glance at the glowing patterns again. Some danced like flames, others like rivers, each one unique, each one alive. "Captain," Elena whispered, "I scanned those patterns. They're not just light," she said, eyes serious. "There's some kind of living energy, maybe even intelligent." Ray frowned. This custom wasn't just strange, it was powerful, and they had just walked right into the heart of it. What had started as a joke turned into something deeper. The crew had laughed, but now they weren't so sure. Something under those dresses was more than just light. It was a warning or a message, and tomorrow they would learn what it really meant. The next morning, the humans woke inside a glowing crystal chamber. It wasn't just beautiful, it was alive, pulsing gently like a slow heartbeat. "Dr. Elena ran scans on the walls, whispering, 'This place is breathing.'" Ray sat on the edge of his bed, trying to clear his mind. He still couldn't forget yesterday's greeting. As the crew gathered for the formal meeting with the Alien Council, tension filled the air. Lieutenant Banks kept wiping his forehead, mumbling, "Please, no more dress lifting." But it wasn't that simple anymore. The energy patterns shown beneath those dresses weren't for decoration. They held meaning, power, maybe even danger. Zalari waited in the great hall, her gown shifting between gold and violet. Next to her stood 3 other Leoran leaders, all female, all glowing softly beneath their robes. A huge crowd of alien citizens watched from the balconies, whispering, waiting. Ray stepped forward and tried to speak calmly. "We are honored to be here," he said. "We respect your traditions, even if we don't fully understand them." One alien counselor, older with glowing blue eyes, stepped closer. "You showed no truth yesterday," she said, voice sharp. "Our people fear you may hide lies." Ray blinked. "We didn't mean disrespect. We just didn't know how to respond," another counselor nodded. "Then show us now." The room fell silent. The humans froze. Dr. Elena leaned in, whispering, "Ray, they want us to lift our uniforms, maybe show something in return. But we don't have glowing thighs." Banks whispered, panicking, "All we've got is hairy legs and awkward underwear." Ray turned to Zalari. "We don't carry energy patterns like yours, but we do have tools that show our truth." He tapped his wristpad and activated a hologram. It showed Earth, its beauty, its chaos, its wars, its healing. Then it showed each crew member's history, their lives, families, past missions, even their mistakes. "This is our truth," Ray said. "We show it openly." The aliens studied the glowing images floating in the air. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the older counselor stepped back and raised her hand. "I see no lies," she said, "but I sense fear." Suddenly, the lights in the chamber turned red. A harsh buzzing echoed across the ceiling. Guards surrounded the humans instantly, pointing glowing staffs at their chests. "What's happening?" Maya shouted, raising her arms. Ray stepped forward, heart pounding. "We came for peace. What did we do wrong?" Zalari raised her hand, calming the guards. She looked deeply at Maya, her eyes narrowing. "You carry a shadow," she said quietly, "one that does not belong to you." Maya's face turned pale. Dr. Elena pulled out her scanner and waved it near Maya's chest. A strange glow pulsed inside her body, faint but real. "It's from yesterday," Elena said. When she saw the patterns under their dresses, it left something in her, an energy imprint. Zalari's expression changed from concern to curiosity. "You have touched the memory flame," she said, "and it touched you back." Ray stepped forward. "What does that mean? Is she in danger?" Zalari shook her head. "No, but she is marked now, seen by the ancestors. She must return to the circle of truth before the sun sets, or the bond may become permanent." The humans were stunned. Maya clenched her fists. "You mean I have some alien memory stuck inside me?" Zalari nodded. "It is not dangerous, unless ignored." Ray turned to his crew, voice firm. "Change of plan. We're going to this circle of truth." "And we're going now." Zalari smiled faintly. "Then let us begin." The doors opened, revealing a long path made of glowing glass and floating stones. The journey had started, and no one knew where it would lead. The glowing path to the circle of truth seemed endless. Strange floating lights followed Maya as she walked. They danced around her like curious fireflies, whispering things only she could hear. Her chest still burned slightly right where the energy market appeared. Ray and the others walked behind her, trying not to show their fear. Zalari walked at Maya's side, silent but watchful. Maya glanced at her and asked, "What happens if we're too late?" Zalari didn't look back, just answered softly, "Then you will see the full memory, and it may break your mind." Ahead, the circle of truth rose like a temple built into the mountains. It was open to the sky, and the air shimmered with golden mist. Crystals floated in perfect circles, humming like an invisible choir. Ray had seen alien tech before, but nothing like this. It was beautiful and terrifying. The moment Maya stepped into the center of the circle, the crystals turned. Red, then white, then completely black. Everyone stopped. Even Zalari looked shocked. "This has never happened," she whispered. "Not since the first flame." Maya's body locked in place, her eyes glowing with the same energy as the Liaran dresses. Then her mouth opened, but it wasn't her voice. It was older, deeper, full of pain. They came from the dark space, screaming without sound, devouring suns, breaking worlds. "We burned our own skies to stop them," the humans gasped. Ray stepped forward. "Who's speaking through her? What is this?" Zalari whispered. "The first flame speaks through the marked. But this memory is not from our time, Doctor." Elena scanned Maya's brain activity, her voice shaking. "She's seeing thousands of years at once. Wars, cities, destruction. This isn't just a memory, it's a warning." Maya's arms lifted slowly, and the energy around her began to swirl. The floating crystals changed shape, becoming sharp and dangerous. One wrong move and they could turn deadly. Then the voice spoke again, louder this time. "They will return, and when they do, only the ones who bear the truth will survive." Suddenly, the energy around Maya exploded into light. The force knocked everyone backward, except Zalari, who stood firm, her eyes glowing bright. She stepped toward Maya and placed her forehead against hers. In that moment, the light vanished. Maya collapsed into Zalari's arms, breathing hard. Ray ran over, grabbing her hand. "Maya, can you hear me?" She opened her eyes slowly and whispered, "I saw them, Ray. I saw the ones who killed stars. They're coming back." Zalari looked at the sky, her face serious for the first time. "The ritual is not just a custom," she said. "It is a call to warriors. And Maya has been chosen." Ray stood up, his voice cold. "Chosen for what?" Zalari replied, "To wear the sacred dress, to carry the flame, to prepare for war." Maya sat up slowly, her body still shaking. "I thought this was just a funny greeting," she said, her voice dry. Zalari nodded. "Most humans think that." At first, the wind picked up, blowing the golden mist away. Now the stars above seemed sharper, closer, and more dangerous. Ray looked at his team, then at Maya. Everything had changed. They didn't come to start a war, but now they couldn't avoid it. And it all began with what was hidden under a dress. Maya sat quietly inside the Temple of Threads. The room was dark but alive. Glowing threads of light floated through the air like tiny rivers. They whispered as they moved. Not in words, but in feelings. The dress waited at the center of the chamber, standing by itself, as if it had a life of its own. It shimmered with colors Maya had never seen before. Not just blue or gold, but colors that seemed to change with her breath. This was the sacred dress of the flame-bearer, and she had been chosen to wear it. Zalari stood beside her, silent and calm. "This dress has not accepted anyone in 300 years, Zalari said. "Until now." Ray and the others watched from the edge of the room. They didn't understand the ritual, but they felt the weight of it. The moment Maya touched the dress, everything changed. The threads flew toward her, wrapping around her arms, her waist, her heart. She didn't feel cloth, she felt memories. 1,000 voices, 1,000 lives. All whispering at once. Maya gasped, her mind flooded with visions. A warrior queen standing on a burning mountain. An alien girl crying beneath shattered moons. A child floating through space, alone but holding light in her hands. The dress wasn't just sacred, it was a collection of souls, of warriors from every generation who had carried the flame. Ray shouted, "Is she okay?" But Zalari raised her hand, stopping him. She must not be interrupted, not now. Maya's body glowed brighter and brighter, the dress shaping perfectly to her human form. When the threads finally stopped moving, she stood tall. The dress flowed like liquid fire, wrapping her like a second skin. She opened her eyes, no longer just Maya's eyes. They held stars inside them now. "I remember everything," she said, her voice layered with many voices. They called themselves the Void Kin. They destroyed Leora's sister worlds, Zalari bowed her head. And now you carry our memory and our strength. Suddenly, alarms blared across the temple. Ray's wrist communicator buzzed. Captain, we've got incoming, unknown ships. Entering orbit. Zalari turned sharply. They are early. Ray looked confused. Who? Zalari answered with cold fire in her voice. The ones who follow the darkness. A giant window opened in the temple wall, showing the sky above. Flashes of red and purple energy danced in orbit. Warships, but not from Earth, and not from Leora. Their designs were sharp, insect-like, pulsing with shadow, Doctor. Elena scanned them quickly. These aren't friendly, she said. Ray grabbed his earpiece. Unity crew, prepare for defense, full lockdown. Zalari stepped forward and handed Ray a glowing stone. Place this in your ship's core. It will connect the dress to your systems. What does that mean? He asked. Zalari replied, it means Maya will not just wear the dress. She will become the weapon. Maya looked at her own hands, glowing with swirling symbols from the dress. I don't want to fight, she said softly. Zalari looked at her with kind eyes. Neither did any of us. But if the Void Kin reach Earth, no one will be left to tell the story. Outside, the sky began to darken as the enemy ships moved closer. Ray nodded slowly. Let's get back to the Unity. The humans had arrived on Leora for peace, but now they were carrying an ancient flame into a new war, and the galaxy had no idea what was coming. The ship Unity was no longer silent. Warning lights flashed red. The hum of engines roared louder. Human crew members ran through the corridors, sealing doors and preparing defenses. But inside the bridge, all eyes were on Maya. She stood still. In the middle of the command deck, wearing the sacred alien dress, the glowing threads across her body pulsed like a second heartbeat. She's connected to the ship, whispered Dr. Elena. And I don't think it's a one-way connection. The moment they had plugged Zalari's energy stone into the core, the ship changed, lights dimmed, the walls shimmered with strange symbols. The engines powered up faster than ever before. Even though no one touched the controls, Ray looked at Maya, concern in his voice. Maya, can you control it? I'm trying, she said, her voice echoing slightly. But it's not just me, inside her mind. She heard voices old, tired, angry. They came from the dress, from the energy passed down by flame-bearers across centuries. They were not happy. They had waited too long. And now the curse had awakened. Suddenly, Maya cried out, grabbing her head. A blast of energy shot out from her chest, cracking the glass panel near the navigation deck. The crew ducked and alarms blared again. Ray shouted, medical. Now, but Elena stopped them. No, it's not sickness, she said. It's memory too much at once. She's being overwritten. Maya dropped to her knees. Sweat rolling down her face, she whispered. They burned themselves alive. To stop the Void Kin. I felt it, their screams, their pain, and their hope. Zalari's voice came through the ship's holoscreen. She must complete the rite of anchoring, or the dress will consume her. Then tell us how. Ray barked. Zalari nodded. She must return to the source of the first fire. Ray glanced at Maya, then at the ship's map. That's in the dead zone, Elena whispered. That part of the planet was sealed after the last war. Maya stood up slowly, her eyes glowing brighter now. We go, she said. Her voice steady but not fully human anymore. The curse isn't just mine. It belongs to every flame-bearer who came before me. As the ship descended again toward Leora's surface, something followed from orbit. The alien enemy ships moved like spiders across the sky, fast and silent. The crew watched them on the radar, their shapes pulsing with shadow energy. They're not attacking, Banks said, confused. They're waiting. Zalari's voice echoed again. They want her to lose control. If Maya burns, the dress will become a weapon, one they can steal. Ray gritted his teeth. Then we make sure they don't get close. Unity landed near the ash-covered ruins of an old city. the trees. Here were black and dead, the sky darker, heavier. This was the place where the last flame-bearer had fallen, where the curse had begun. Maya stepped out first, her glowing form lighting the ground beneath her feet. "I can hear them," she whispered. "All of them. They want me to burn," Ray followed, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Then we show them what it means when a human wears the flame." The ground cracked as Maya stepped into the center of the ruins. Energy exploded upward, forming a spiral tower of fire and memory. Inside it, she vanished. Only the dress remained visible. Spinning in midair like a ghost, Ray clenched his fists. "Come back, Maya." But deep inside, he feared what might. Return might not be Maya at all. Asterisk. The sky above the ruins turned blood red. A storm of fire and memory swirled around the old city. The flame tower at the center roared higher, spinning like a cyclone made of screams. Ray stared helplessly as Maya disappeared into the vortex. Only her voice echoed back, soft and fading. "I remember everything," she said. Then silence. Zalari stood at the edge of the ash field, her face grim. "This is the burning trial," she said. "No one can help her now. She must face every soul the flame ever touched." Inside the fire, Maya floated in darkness. The dress wrapped around her body now pulsed slowly, each thread whispering a name, a death, a betrayal, a vow. She saw a child warrior stabbed by his own commander. She felt the pain of a mother burning her own village to keep the void kin from infecting it. And then, she saw herself, a little girl on Earth, standing in her bedroom, promising she'd be strong one day. "Why me?" Maya whispered. "I didn't ask for this," a voice answered. "Not human, not alien, but something older. Because you carry truth, even when you fear it." Suddenly, a figure stepped from the flames, a woman in the same dress, her body half burned but smiling. "I was the last flame-bearer," she said. "I failed. But you can still choose." Maya reached out, her hand trembling. The flame around her turned white, pure and silent. Outside, the sky cracked with thunder. The alien enemy ship started to descend. Ray's crew aimed their weapons, but they were outnumbered. One enemy ship opened, revealing creatures that looked like smoke wrapped in bone. No faces, no voices, just hunger. "They've come to take the flame," Banks shouted. Elena screamed. "We have to protect the trial." Zalari stepped forward, placing her palms on the ground. A wave of golden energy exploded outward, forming a barrier around the tower. "I'll hold them back," she said. "But not for long." Ray raised his blaster. "Then we fight, as I." The void kin moved in, shadows crawling over the ruins. The sky suddenly went quiet. The flame tower stopped spinning, and a soft glow rose from the ground. Maya stepped out, the dress now glowing brighter than the sun, her eyes calm, her voice clear. "I am the flame-bearer," she said. "Not cursed, not chosen but willing." The enemy creatures paused, as if confused. Then Maya raised her hand, and a wave of fire shot forward, not to burn, but to reveal. The smoke peeled away from the alien invaders, revealing tortured souls underneath. Twisted, broken beings lost to the dark. "They were once like us," Maya said quietly, "but they lost their truth." The void kin screamed, retreating from the light. Their ships cracked apart in the sky as the flame reached them. Ray and his team watched in awe as the creatures vanished into the stars. No explosions, no war cries, just silence. Zalari bowed. "Deeply, you passed the trial. You did not burn, you lit the path." Maya turned to Ray, tears in her glowing eyes. "I thought the dress would break me," she said, "but it made me remember who I really am. A human who stands in the fire and doesn't run." The team gathered around her, speechless. The sacred dress shimmered once more, then faded into light, absorbed into her skin. Now she carried the flame not as clothing, but as legacy. The real trial was over, but a new purpose had begun. The next sunrise over Leora was unlike any before. The sky shimmered with gold and blue, as if the planet itself had taken a deep breath. The warships were gone. The ground was still, but something had changed, not just in the world, but in Maya. She stood at the top of the temple steps, now dressed in simple robes. The sacred energy of the flame-bearer no longer flickered outside her body, it pulsed within her. She was calm, silent, yet everyone could feel the power in her presence. Beside her, Captain Ray adjusted his collar and looked at the thousands gathered below. Humans, Lyrans, and members of the newly arrived Galactic Union stood together, even. The alien species, once distant or cold, had sent envoys. The trial, the flame, the enemy, all of it had brought the galaxy to this moment. Zilari raised her hand, and the crowd fell quiet. "Let truth be shown, not hidden," she said. "Let the bearer of the flame speak." Maya stepped forward, her voice soft but strong. "When we first arrived, your welcome was strange to us," she said, smiling slightly. "Your custom of revealing what's under your dress made us laugh, panic, and blush." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Even Ray chuckled. "But now," Maya continued, "I understand it was never about the dress. It was about showing what we hide, the most truth." She lifted the hem of her robe slightly, and everyone gasped. Beneath the cloth, glowing lines danced along her skin, symbols of every flame-bearer before her. They told stories, sang names, shared memories in pure light. But then something new happened. The symbols shifted, and one more mark appeared different from the others. It was the Earth symbol, glowing bright. The humans in the crowd froze. Some moved to tears. Maya said, "Earth is now part of the flame. We are no longer outsiders, no longer just guests. We are protectors." A beam of light shot from her feet, rising into the sky. It wasn't a weapon, it was a signal, a declaration, one that reached far into the stars, to every species still watching in silence. And somewhere in the cold corners of the galaxy, the Voidkin felt it, the light, the unity, the fire they had once destroyed, was reborn. Zilari stepped beside Maya and placed her hand on her shoulder. "Your truth will guide worlds," she said. "Not just this one." Ray walked forward, smiling wide. "Not bad for someone who just came here for a handshake," he joked. Maya laughed softly. "Not bad for someone who fainted during a dress-lifting ceremony." The crew laughed, the crowd laughed, even the stiff galactic diplomats cracked smiles. In that moment, Maya looked to the sky, and the galaxy looked back. A simple greeting had started it all, a bizarre alien custom, funny, strange, confusing. But behind it was something ancient, powerful, and beautiful. It wasn't just about lifting dresses. It was about lifting fear, lifting lies, lifting silence, and now the flame had a new voice, a human voice, and it was just getting started.